Hello, beautifuls. Lisa Kirchner here to show you yoga for tiny spaces. What's great about this next sequence is you can do it anywhere because if you're staying there, it's got a bed. And it's great for the core. From Dandasana, move into Paschimottanasana. Again, lifting in and up through the center of the body. Hinge forward at the hip creases. The destable surface really makes you have to use your core. If you cannot touch your chin to your shins, just grab onto your ankles, your calves, outside edges of the feet. Work with your breath to go deeper into this pose. Don't bounce, 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 especially on a bed. It's really going to take away the effort, the energy of this pose. East-west means you're moving into infinity along a long straight line in either direction. So when you're finished here, on an inhale, lift up, release the bind, sitting back into Dandasana. We're going to transition to Janushirshasana. So in Janushirshasana, the sole of the foot presses into the opposite thigh. You inhale and lift up again. If your knee is not coming to the bed, bring the bed to your knee by putting a pillow underneath. Another trick with this pose, especially in this case, is to press the foot into the thigh and the thigh into the foot. This gives you something to lift away from. So you're pressing the crown of the head in the opposite direction of that foot to thigh pressure. After 5 or 10 breaths there, your choice, inhale, grab your shin and sit up nice and tall. Once again, Dandasana energy in that extended leg. You're going to hold your shin in a parallel line. You'll really feel this in that ball and socket joint of your hip. You can even experiment. Slouch, totally disappears. Sit up straight, comes right back. Again, reset with Dandasana, and we're going to do the same thing on the opposite side. Inhale, keeping your feet flexed all the while. Aha, see, I'm motioning that. Press the foot next to the thigh, thigh next to the foot, and reach the chin toward the shin. Again, if the knee isn't coming all the way down, and it's interesting to watch this because when I'm on a flat surface, my knee comes all the way down, but you know, the bed is not flat. But again, this is what makes this a really powerful sequence. You really have to use your core muscles, working with your breath. Now you're going to inhale, sit up, and hug your shin into your chest. Both feet are flexed and just breathe. So I'm demonstrating with 5 breaths in each posture. You can do 3, you can do 10. This is about a 10-minute sequence that will help get you ready for whatever your day is going to have in store for you. After this, once again, reset with Dandasana, and now we're going to transition into Baddha Konasana. This is a fantastic, again, hip opener, and you really have to use that core, lifting it in and up on this moving platform. It's kind of like, and only kind of, sup yoga. I don't know that in sup yoga you do a lot of forward folding, but one of the ways that it really makes you use your core is that your surface is not stable. So you have to really stabilize with those internal muscles, which is the key to your practice. Here we're moving into Uttanavishta Konasana. So grab onto the big toes with your peace fingers and your thumb, lift up and lift that chest so that you're nice and tall through the center of the body. And again, strong core work. Bring the feet together and now touch your chin to your shins. This is hard on the floor. It's even harder on a surface that's wobbly. Again, great for the core. It's great when you have limited time and limited space. And now, Navasana. Navasana is always a bonus in your practice. And it's key to having a healthy spine. Look at me, I'm like looking around like, is this over yet? And then lift yourself up off the bed. That is actually crazy challenging on this wobbly surface. Now from here, it's not the greatest shot because it is a tiny space that I'm working in here, and I wanted to give you an idea of another pose you could do, especially if you want to do something a little bit more active, something more for your arms. And I'm moving backward and forward in a dolphin dog. So my forearms are on the bed, which unfortunately you can't see. And I inhale forward and exhale back, inhale forward, exhale back. I did that 5 times. And then I hold myself forward to a count of 5 and hold my shoulders back over my elbows to a count of 5. Super invigorating. And then a little child's pose action. Again, the amount of time you spend in these postures is up to you. And I wanted to get a nice little shoulder stretch in as well. So you just bring the, started here on the left side underneath the right armpit with my forehead on the floor, the bed, because it makes you go deeper into the shoulder. And you can have an experiment. You can put your cheek and see how that feels, and then try it with just the forehead. I see that my shoulders aren't nearly parallel enough on that opposite side, but that's what you're aiming for. The more parallel you are, the deeper it's going to go into your shoulders. And here, a twist. I love twists in any practice. And this is, again, a nice opportunity to really work with that uneven, wobbly surface to lift yourself up and try to keep your hips and shoulders square as you're twisting around. Keep breathing, inhaling to lift up and exhaling to twist deeper. And then interlace your hands. I love pushing the palms away and pressing the shoulders down the spine, and then keeping that distance. Inhale, lifting up and keeping the chin gently tucked. And here I want to show you what I'm doing. So interlace your fingers behind you, change sides so the non-natural side is up. Peel the shoulders back and lift the wrists away from the sacrum. Again, feel that openness in the heart. The whole point is we're developing our flexibility, especially our flexibility in our heart chakra. So I always like to have a pose that emphasizes that. And then from here, we're going to come into a nice, gentle bridge pose. So bring your heels up to your butt. I tried to shift around so you could see me a little better. Touch your fingertips to your heels. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, rock the shoulder blades together. Interlace the hands. Peel the shoulders out and around the back. Now, if it's not working out for you, you can also hold your hips up and try to push yourself up a little bit higher. Press the back of the head against the surface so that you've got a nice open airway. And then slowly lower yourself down. Next, we're going to hug the knees into the chest. I had to shuffle around a little bit to make this work. Give yourself a nice squeeze, and then grab onto your knees and just slowly roll the knees in a circle, painting a tiny circle on the bed and a giant circle on the ceiling. Make it juicy. Go around 3 times in one direction and then 3 times in the opposite direction, breathing the whole time. And then once again, give yourself a little squeeze and take and press the knees over to the left hand side. Gaze over your right shoulder. This reclining twist is a very passive, safe way to twist. Gives a nice stretch through the spine, especially when you combine not just the movement of the head in the twist, but actually look over your shoulder as if you're continuing that spiral of energy from between your sits bones all the way up through the crown of the head. My favorite. Happy Buddha. Grab onto the inside of the ankles and just gently sway from side to side. Then Happy Baby, grabbing onto your big toes or the outside edges of your feet in order to draw your knees in towards your chest. Now from here, we're going to come into a plow pose. So lift your arms up overhead, flex your feet, and straighten out the legs. Then send the toes back behind the head. Again, had to shuffle around a bit. It is truly a tiny space. Lifting up. Again, this is a great sort of core effort, this lifting up of the hips. The feet are flexed, and that helps keep the legs nice and straight. It keeps your kneecaps engaged. And it's really a nice, strong, and safe variation of plow here on this surface. My hands are interlaced behind my head. You can't really see it, but I interlaced the right on top in bridge and the left on top in plow. I just try to mix it up each time I interlace my hands. So even if your teacher doesn't cue that, you might want to do it. Now here I started to come into lotus to do Matsyasana fish pose, but I had done a longer practice. That's not really appropriate at this point in the practice unless your hips are super open and you have a regular lotus pose, in which case it's a fantastic variation. Otherwise, just come into Sukhasana, easy pose, and then Shavasana. Thanks very much. If you want more tips, go to my website, lisalkirchner.com. Namaste.